Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
When will the full carotene be released? Now we only get beta carotene. Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, well, I wrote it as 11/16 of 2022, so I hope I'm in agreement. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor. We're playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car, where one driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hey,
how's it going?
It's going really good. How are you doing?
Well, I kept hearing my audio on and off, and as we started, so I'm like, oh, hello. I heard it on the conference call, and then I was like, wait a minute, how come I'm not hearing it? What is going on here? It's odd that we're starting with challenges here, technical challenges, and for some reason, I'm not seeing us live on YouTube, but hey, everybody says
see us.
You see us? Good, because
I do see us.
My tablet doesn't see us or see, but that's my man. Okay, well, I'll have to deal with that later. All right, well, as long as you can see us, that's the important part. Let's see. Let me go through our agenda real quick. We love to start out with how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last week? And for whoever's listening now, by all means, post in chat what you experienced, because we love to share those things and help others. Then we get into some announcements, which we have some new announcements. Let's see, we'll do special prayers and a moment of silence. Then we get to listen to the trance segments. Then we participate in a meditation. I'll talk about some notes, and then watch for the novena. It's our special prayer ceremony that everybody's welcome to participate in, regardless of when you're listening to this. Then I recommend, I suggest about appreciation. Then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. Our next step.
Wonderful.
We almost didn't get it this week because the last one burned out. So we're going to light a candle here, but I have to warm it up a bit. There we go. Yep, I guess it's going to stay going. So yeah, we love to start with how did you use Novus philosophy last week? Okay, your choice. First, second, or rock, scissors, paper?
I would love to hear what you used of Novus philosophy.
Well, so would I. Let's see. Hold on here. I have to find it.
Not that I put you on the spot.
It's all
Sorry.
right. uh, when okay, I have to read my notes here. Oh, so I'm still working through for myself, emotion and intellect, and Francine's what's the right word? Um, I want to say insight. That's the best way to put it, because it wasn't an answer; it was a clue. That's probably the best way to say it.
Oh, interesting.
With emotion and emotion being the mover, and her. I've mentioned this before. Her clue was you've got the cart before the horse,
Mm.
and emotion is the mover. So how do you reverse that? And that's what I've been thinking of. Okay, what aren't I doing enough of? One is um, rewarding myself for doing things. I've had a long time mindset of let's get this done. We don't have time to sit down and enjoy the moment. It's like, okay, what's next? What we got to do, and move forward and keep doing. And I've been thinking, okay, I got to take a breather. Um, um, because of, and I've expressed in the past physical tolls of things that have been issues for me. So it's like, all right, I gotta make some adjustment here and sort out the uh, what's the right word? Um, well, the weaknesses. Again, the fun statement: in your weakness, there lies your strength sleeping. And so, yep, I gotta work on waking things up. And part of that is I'm not, I don't, for me, I don't think I'm visualizing enough, planning and programming enough for, future kind of things. So that's what I've been thinking of and working on.
That is cool. I get so excited listening to your journey on this, related to this topic, because I think it is really important. I think a lot of people can relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of like, how do I use my emotion in a moment? How do I use my emotion in a situation? And I think that it can get easy sometimes to beat ourselves up and not let ourselves actually take a moment to enjoy the full process of completing
Yeah.
something, because
Yeah.
I think people do have a right to feel proud of themselves and to feel some accomplishment after they've completed something. Raheem certainly does. He jokes about being a little bit arrogant about that. He's like, yes, I did this thing. It was magnificent. It's Raheem.
Yeah.
Mentality on something. So it's cool. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I see that we have a brand new listener. Hello, Anne. So nice that you are here to join us. That's fantastic. And Addie, happy birthday to you too. Like, high five. I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful day and that you get to do something really, really lovely for yourself.
Fun.
And hello to everybody else. I see Reverend Yvonne is here. Hello, Yvonne. And then while people are here commenting and saying hello to each other, please also share what you used of Novus philosophy yourselves. We'd love to hear your stories and how your week was. So for myself, what I used of Novus philosophy, I used a lot of Novus philosophy at work over this past week. And one thing that I felt very particularly proud of was I was helping somebody out with the idea of projecting forward to who they wanted to be in order to get out of the particular space that they were in, and just helping them find their own empowerment that they
Okay.
have all the power that they have.
Yeah.
It's their power is right there, just sleeping. They just have to project themselves forward into being the person that they want to be. And so that was a really interesting and happy
Yeah.
conversation.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
I'm seeing more and more how more confirmation of visualizing is a form of mover. It gives our mind works
it is.
in visualizing. Most many high performance people are visualize things. So uh, it's helps. Well, it helps. Was trying to sort out on whether it's has to do with physical or spiritual, but you know what? At this moment, it doesn't matter. Find out for yourself if that's what you're connecting to. But it's you're consciously visualizing about what you want, where you want to go. That's kind of the key of the next step, the next.
Yeah. And and to and I think that there's something very comforting in the idea that um, that with the universe being infinite, to me that suggests that it is inevitable that I will become confident in areas that I'm currently not as confident in.
Yeah.
And so if I can just reach forward far enough and say, you know what, this is inevitable, then I'll get here eventually.
Yes. There you go.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. So
It
just reach into that and see what that might look like. It
it
starts an inner dialogue.
takes some of the strain off of worrying. Am I gonna get there?
Yes. Yeah, the
Just like
universe is infinite. You're going to get there. You will get there.
just like
Whew.
just like if you're feeling ill or down at this moment, visualize yourself in the future that you're done. You finished. You've completed that illness cycle. Is very similar process.
Absolutely. Um, all right. So I would love to share what some of our listeners
Good, because I thought I
have.
almost interrupted and we might have missed something from the previous what you were talking about.
No, we're good. We're good. There were so many things that I could have chosen, but that one was. I thought that one was worthy of a good shout out. So, okay, Naomi shares. I like to visualize the night before what I want to accomplish the next day. That is fantastic. That is something that I should be doing more of because, yes, that is fantastic. Amanda says hello. Hello, Amanda. Tangela says hi, everyone. Hi, Gibson. So nice to see you. Ramona shares, I have been trying to allow my aura to extend as far as possible. That is lovely. That is lovely. Um, and says back to us, nice to meet you. I can't type as fast as all of you guys. LOL.
No
It's
worries.
funny. Don't worry.
No, you notice I'm not commenting.
That's funny. Anthony's here today. Hi, Anthony, Sherry, Linda. Very nice to see everybody. Yvonne says that she's been sharing the novena prayer at 9 in the morning and 9 in the evening. That's lovely.
Nice. And by the way, thank you, Yvonne, for helping me help you. There was a streaming issue of who, what, and where. She couldn't. She was trying to give us messages last week, and it
Oh
turned
no.
out what shows up on her phone was the other streams that I was doing on the other Facebook groups, and
Oh.
we can't hear those. We don't see that stuff. So I said, okay, enough of that. I thought I was helping, but I think I was making more of a problem with things. So for those that are listening, or we have a Facebook New Spirit Radio Facebook group, and that's going to go away because we're here. But I've been streaming to that, and I think that's what might have gotten some people confused. So she helped me with that and understand that. It was like, oh, ding, ding,
Cool.
ding. Anyway, but thank you, Yvonne. Yes.
Cool. Very cool. And Yvonne also commented, I've been giving info about windows and exit points, and a lot of the focus was on closing windows of negativity. So for anyone who doesn't remember what windows and exit points are, exit points are, we have 5 of them. Even the smallest little baby has 5 exit points of times where they are charted to be able to go. And it's between the soul and God of like when they feel like it's their time to go. And in between those 5 exit points are little test periods that we call windows. And so there are 6 windows, and they are just periods of negativity. And so if you think back in your life of times that had like very, very noticeable kind of pinnacles of just tough things happening, that was probably a window of negativity. And what you want to do is just visualize slamming it shut, boarding it up, bricking it off, blessing it, putting some crosses saying like, no, do not enter. And to just to really, really visualize that period of time is being as minimal as possible. So that's what Yvonne was referencing there by saying she's been talking to people about exit points and windows. Thank you very much. And then Yvonne says, you are the greatest, Tom and Kat. No, you, girlfriend. Yvonne, you were so sweet to me the first time that I started coming to Novus. You're just so sweet and easy to talk to. It's just like being in the presence of someone who's just like so super warm. So Yvonne's wonderful. Another comment that we have is from Shades. She says, I'm taking Sean Leonard's Spirit Talker class. In class tonight, some were talking about the why of stuff that happens. I am so grateful to know why stuff happens. I wrote it to learn. High five. It's very, very comforting to know. That's right. So thank you so much for everyone's comments. And we will continue to read your comments as we continue to have our dialogue tonight.
Cool.
Cool.
Announcements. Ba-ding.
Yes. Ba-ding.
Let's see. I have. Oh yeah. A reminder: while you're watching, if you would share, promote, like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notified. We got to increase our. What do we call them? There's so many different names for them now. Got to get some more people subscribed and following. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. So that there's more features that we can incorporate into this our show and sharing with all of you. Next week, November 23rd, there will be no show because that's the day before Thanksgiving. So I wanted to provide everybody some extra time for preparation or rejuvenation and relaxation. So next week there'll be no show. Also, here's a trivia question: what anniversary is B? Oh, that's a good English. What anniversary is November 20th?
What is it, Tom?
Oh, all right. That didn't take long. So, to the best of my understanding, it is November 20th is the day Sylvia passed. It's now, where are we? Darn it, we're at 9 years now since she passed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like time flies in this case. And I wanted to share. I mentioned that last week just happened to Rosie and I just happened to pass by the place where she's her body is laying to rest. Yes, we like to say they are, but where her body is laid.
Resting place. Yeah.
I wanted to share the video. So let me see if I can figure this out the right way. I'm supposed to do that. And let's see if this comes through here. So I got a couple of short videos here to show. Well, it shows on YouTube. That sounds nice, but here. So I'm going to comment here. Right dead center, just above center is where she's at, but I wanted to display here. This is the area where she's at. but her resting place is right dead center at the railing right there, and the next video is going to give a little bit more close up.
Oh. People left beautiful flowers.
And this one, I don't understand why it's not the same size, but so that's
She definitely earned going home, but man, I do miss her presence.
yeah. So that was our spur of the moment. Oh, look where we're driving by. So we
It's
stopped
neat.
for the afternoon, and some the plants on the right, somebody else had left there, and the ones on the left are what Rosie had bought, and we left there. It was it was nice to see, and it was also nice to see because the week prior was Dios de los Muertos, and
Oh,
so
neat.
there were still flowers and things left over in nearby places with all kinds of fun, colorful decorations. So
Oh,
it was a fun
I bet.
experience to go see all the colors and the evidence of ceremony that people enjoy.
Dia de los Muertos is a beautiful holiday, in my opinion. I am not Mexican, but I have so much appreciation for the welcoming of ancestors and the celebration that they're still around.
Yeah.
I think that that's just really heartwarming, and I love being able to witness, even though I am not a participant.
Yeah. And you know, I feel it's probably okay, you know, share in experiences, whatever source of ceremony brings pleasure to you, you know, and I think is a fun and acceptable. Yes, I'm sure some people think, oh, you're taking our stuff, or, uh, um, but anyway, that's why I enjoy watching the different cultures and seeing their different ideas of ceremony and uh,
Absolutely.
um, remembrance is
Absolutely. Uh,
enjoyment,
during
enjoyable,
the
something.
Yes, and that reminds me, during the trances where Francine was talking about Jesus's life on earth, she said that he took every opportunity to celebrate any holiday that came along.
Mm.
So that's it's just something that I
Like
keep in mind now. Yeah, he's like
that's a lot of
that holiday.
holidays.
Yes, it's a lot of holidays. She said she loved them all. It's
Oh,
really funny.
how fun!
Um,
I had forgotten that note. That's a fun remembering. Now,
mhm.
along the lines of Sylvia.
Yes. So we just had election day, and we like to say that, the absolute truth, which is that Novus is not on anybody's side. But Sylvia did write some interesting predictions about this decade and the politics in America. And I thought that it would be worth sharing just a couple of paragraphs about what she said, just for general knowledge.
All right.
So she said that during this decade, America might end up seeing a new structure of government. So by about 2020, we'll see the end of a one-man presidency and the costly, seemingly perpetual cycle of presidential campaigns and elections. Instead, our executive branch will be essentially phased out and absorbed into the legislative branch. And it's through the legislative branch it will exercise our democratic process. The legislature will be considerably streamlined into a body of elected representatives, an equal number of each state of the Union, vaguely resembling the ancient Roman Senate. So rather than Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, The legislature, aka the Senate, will be divided into two groups, liberals and conservatives, who will sit literally, not figuratively, on opposite sides of a long aisle. Proposed laws will have to be first submitted and work their way through a series of screening committees, and when they'll finally be presented by the Senate, and then they will be debated and either pass fail by majority vote. Every session of the Senate will be nationally televised. Boy, doesn't that sound simplified.
Yeah, I'm been waiting to
I
watch
know.
how that unfolds. How that evolves. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I've been wondering how that might evolve, just because it's such a trying, emotionally trying sore spot for our country. Um, so anyway, I just wish the best for all people, and I hope that we find a graceful way forward, whatever that looks like.
yeah.
That's what Sylvia predicted.
Okay. What are we doing next? Do we cover everything? I think so. Got announcements. Oh, special prayers. So for those of you that have special prayer, by all means, visualize what is the outcome that you're looking for. Or if you know someone that could use some extra special prayer, whether they ask for it or not. And it doesn't matter when you're listening. We're all going to put that energy out for your need as well. So we'll take a moment here, and we're going to ask that, the archetypes, archangels, Mother God, you're gonna, ask for what it is that you think is important, and we always like to preface with, for the greater good, so that the lessons that we're asked for are learned, and of course that the severity, if I've said for myself, if there's a lesson I got to learn, okay, let's minimize the severity of it. Let's not make it so harsh on ourselves. So let's take a moment. We're gonna put that energy out, and ask for everyone that wants to participate. Amen.
Amen.
And of course, if you've got a special prayer you'd like to post, you can either post in the comments or go to the website and post on the prayer chain. And lastly, not last for the show, but last for comment for special prayers. Be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it.
Wonderful.
What is this? This is, oh, okay. This is about, I think we're doing pretty good with that. If you want to, if you are stream challenged for whatever reason where you're at while we are live, feel free to call our conference call number, and you can listen to the audio portion of this while we are live. And that phone number is 888-534 2696. So you can listen live on a phone or in your car, or wherever it's not appropriate to be streaming and watching videos. Fun. Oh, and I do appreciate that you're keeping muted so that everybody has a wonderful session while they listen. Now we get on to any other notes, comments before we jump into trans segments.
Let's see here. A couple folks said that less drama would be nice overall.
Yeah.
Regarding Sylvia's prediction. Yes, it certainly would. Yeah, I think we're ready to jump into the next segment.
All right, good.
So So while you look, I will read the comments. So we're going to start off with Francine's going to talk about sharing spirituality with other people. Silicon Valley takes things for granted. Pain and suffering can unfortunately become a loved one. And how spirituality spreads.
Nice. All right. Take notes. Here we go.
Why aren't people coming?
Because this is the desert. This is the Silicon Desert. And it's become, yes. And there is a strange phenomena, and I don't mean all of you go out and start pounding on doors, but it's always been very strange here because nobody wants to share. It's like it's always been a very closed, rather than going out and bringing friends or doing anything, they close up and they don't want anybody to know. It's like their own little private thing that they can keep, and yet it's spreading so fast like wildfire now. Yes.
I think way back, maybe about 3 years ago, when I first told you that I wanted to share, that would be my task. I don't think I've ever stopped that.
I know.
Everyone I know
you do.
everyone
You
I touch,
profess so much.
and I give it to them all, and it's yours, it's Sylvia's. The greatest thing you ever gave me was the purpose for being here.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Well, we certainly have also given our love to you. Yes.
I think that's true what she's saying, because I know Vera and I in our daily outings and things that we tend to do up by where we live, there have been so many people that we have discussed this philosophy with, and you can't help but live it and breathe it.
Oh,
You've been here that
absolutely.
long.
It's not any of your fault sitting here. I
No.
didn't mean for you
Oh,
to...
no, I knew that, but what I was going to say was that the few people that we have brought down
Oh.
have taken to it somewhat, and then for whatever the reasons are, they study it from afar, or they just want to know how it's going.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Yes.
But then also there's always new people, because we just ran into 2 more people who want to
Yes,
come now.
but notice that this area, and Sylvia didn't understand when I told her 30 some odd years ago when she opened up, when I kept saying to her, if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. And she thought this was a godsend, because in Missouri it was very cold for her. But then she hadn't got her full steam yet. Now when she goes back to Missouri, they're like maniacs. When I told her that, she didn't understand what I meant. She really was trying to sow seed in clay and rock. But you see, the good part about it was, it gave her the stamina. I mean, what's going to be harder than this? Nothing. So it got her ready for the world.
But isn't there, in a bigger picture, isn't there a reason for this also?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'm just saying, we find it humorous, though. The very place that gives, really, in this continent, at this time, in this century, that gives birth to something, and not any of you, please don't take it personally, is less appreciative than any other place. Isn't that funny? And I think it has a lot to do with the taking for grantedness of it.
Yeah, maybe so.
Taking for granted, or that, like, you go to Seattle and it's a different feeling. Even when you go out to
Yes.
dinner,
Yes.
even, you know,
Yes.
people are so personable
Yes.
and friendly.
Well, and they're so much more spiritual, but then look at it this way, to pat yourself on the back, those of you that have come this long distance to this spirituality are probably far superior in many ways, that you've had to battle the clay and the rock.
Because some people, you know, like Linda said, you share it with them, and you kind of want them to get.
Well, it's very much like Sylvia was telling me the story that Alan talked to a person for about 5 minutes in a Taco Bell, and he came to church. Well, now see, you don't have that here. You could talk to them until their ears fell off.
Yeah, and that's one of the feelings you get, you know, you put out your little seeds and your tidbits and so forth, and it's like, so what? You know, it's kind of
And there you drop one little seed, and they come in with a whole geranium plant next Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Francine, another thing that I've noticed is I talk to people and I share, you know, what I have at work, and I know they want to come, but it's like they don't want to give up their old aches and pains. It's like they're afraid to give.
Oh, they don't want to shed that. Well, why would you want to make them better? Don't you see? That's why I say familiarity of pain and suffering becomes an old friend. And Sylvia said that many times. And it becomes tragically a loved one. Now with Anaheim coming about, Rita, you have how many people coming now?
6.
Who are the 6 that you have?
Donna, David, Michael, myself, Jim, and then Sylvia and Larry, so.
And that's enough. That's all I want down there. That's all I want. You don't need, otherwise you're going to inundate them this time.
What should we expect attendance wise?
Attendance, you will have 210, so I don't think you're going to need, now next time you will have 342. The reason why you will not have as many this time is because, not that it hasn't been publicized that much, but it's your Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, well, then let's cancel services.
But you'll have about 210 and you'll sell out of everything. So the ones that you have going are the ones that should go. I really don't recommend any more people. Next time, maybe, yes. But otherwise, you're going to leave this deficient here and that, too top heavy. You've got 8 strong in Seattle. You eventually will have 6 moving in and out. And then eventually in Texas, you will have 6. And then New York, you will have 12. So, and most of those will be garnered along the way as we go. And I expect really that Nelda will begin to head up an awful lot of the East Coast.
She's very excited about it.
Well, she's gone totally over the edge with, she's caught the New York fever.
That's and I had said before, people might ask, okay, where are these people? Well, that's because yes, things got started, and where are those people now? Sylvia can't be at 10 places at once, and so that's Novus is about us. It's about the people that participate and keep this movement going. So yeah, we've got some new ministers in training that are going to add to what we have and what we can do and share and move forward with.
Yeah, I think that I kind of touched on this topic before and last time I think, but in my own life I have worked on. I've had to learn that my tendency is to be very passive and go with the flow about certain things, and I've had to really, really learn that there are some topics that have to have a very, very firm response, and I have to show up with really, really caring about it and fighting for it. And Gnosticism for me is one of those topics, because to me it feels like this beautiful, precious gift that is also at the same time fragile. It has tried to start up so many times throughout history, and people, I think, just for whatever reason, just for whatever reason, for their own reasons, their own life reasons. It's not a judgment, but I think that it would benefit all of us if we fought for it the same way that we sometimes have to fight for friendships. Because I see this with friendships, and especially when I'm working with people in therapy, is that people tend to be a little bit shy, and they're like, I don't know about this, about like my connections. Like, man, sometimes you have to fight for your friendships. You have to fight for the things that you love. Gnosticism, to me, is one of those things that is worth fighting for, and is worth investing in, and is worth saying, hey, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
So that's my particular standpoint. I'm go with the flow on so many things, but this is not one of them. I want to help. Yeah.
And that's that's what we encourage is, yes, there used to be large groups in Anaheim, and it's either, like you said, people, something gets influenced with them, or they come across this and get all excited. But then again, that's part of the challenge of the Gnostic movement, is to, who's going to keep carrying the flag forward, as it were, and
Yeah.
keep it going, keep it up. The banner carriers and the noisemakers, and so that's. But
Yeah.
hey, we're going, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
we're
I want to say, like, it's good. It's a beautiful thing to give, because I think that Gnosticism and God's love is by nature giving, but it's also, I think there's also some part of it that I view as being like, pay it forward. What has been
Yeah.
given to me, I feel
Yeah.
like I have a responsibility to pay it forward, and that's, I don't know. That's my particular take. That's how I approach it.
sow the seeds, sow the
Mhm.
seeds out there, and see what grows from them.
Hmm.
So fun.
Very fun.
What? Any comments, or do we want to
Yeah.
jump on to the next one?
Yeah, Ramona shares. Oh, I'm in Missouri. I saw Sylvia every time she toured around here, and she was great every time.
Fun.
Kristen says, "There's no dogma, and you must do your work." Amen to that. Mm-hmm. Shade says, "Hopefully, some will bring some good light to New York and Connecticut." That's cool. I'm not sure where. So there's 9 new ministers in training, myself included. I'm not sure where everyone is from, but next time we're all on a call together, I will try to see where people are from. And yeah, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Yep, there we go. That's our comments.
All right. What's our next segment about?
Okay, next segment we have is, okay, we're wrapping up this trance, and she's going to talk about beta carotene and carrots. The supplement pycnogenol, and I spelled it in the comments, so if you need to look it up, go look at the video comments. It's there. Went and looked it up. CoQ10 can support circulation. Melatonin in small doses can support positive mood. Tell people birthmarks are reminders to let go.
Nice. All right.
All right.
Take notes.
Yes.
Well, I think that with the Silicon Valley being so technical, it's like this is Lemuria in the middle of Atlantis.
You're right. You're right. And
Yeah.
it's very much what Rebecca said. This is really Atlantean. And so it's like you people were Gnostics at one time, going over to the Atlantean culture, trying to show them what they were doing wrong, and they hated you for it until they slipped into the ocean, or a few of them followed you to Lemuria and made it to the Bimini, made it to the Tibetan monasteries. And that's what you'll do again. You will be able to save, I hate the word save, but you know what I mean, save some, the rest you will have to sort of let go and let God.
Can I ask about the beta carotene? It got kind of a bad rap on.
Oh, I know it did. And then carrots will cause cancer, and then blue eyes will be susceptible to cancer, and brown eyes will be susceptible to stroke or.
So it's
Don't
bad
you
rap.
see? It's a bad publicity. Don't you see what they're trying to do? They're trying to undermine nutrition so that everything is on prescription.
Yes.
Oh, beta carotene should not be taken in great gulping quantities because A, is stored in the liver. We all know that.
Yeah.
But one little orange pill of beta carotene helps oxidize the blood. Now, I think they're very right. Some people go crazy. 1 will do good, 5 will do better. We've seen people do that with prescription drugs.
Yeah.
We've seen them do it with I'll take 1 antibiotic will do good, 5 will do better. Then they get yeast infections and everything else. It's ridiculous. When Linus Pauling came out with his vitamin C, some of you may be mature enough or that he was blasted from here to kingdom come. Now he's almost put up as a saint.
Yeah.
But the doctors were down on him. They called him a fraud. They called him a charlatan. They said, your wife died of cancer. Why didn't you save her? He said, I hadn't even developed my theories yet. I mean, they ripped him to shreds. Any person who's trying to do good, they do this to.
Yep.
Yes.
This new rage going around now, melatonin, what is it?
Melatonin helps the serotonin liquid. The only thing that I would recommend, try it. Use the smallest dosage. It really helps with mood elevation. But if you notice there is a small group of the population that it creates stomach upset. If you notice that you begin to get a sour stomach from it, don't use it. Most people don't. But melatonin it's what it should be produced in the hypothalamus gland, but it diminishes with age. Sylvia takes melatonin. And she's taken it for a while to see if she dies, and then if she didn't, she would tell us that yes, take it.
There, I think last spring you said something about this miracle thing coming over from France, and it was going to cure all these things.
That's what we're talking about, the genetic.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of
thing called pycnogenol, which is from the bark of a pine tree, and the Native American Indians use it too. Here.
Yes, it's a marvelous thing. Yes, it helps.
It's a really heavy-duty antioxidant.
Yes,
and that's
is.
really what I'm on right
good.
now.
It's good. I don't see anything negative about it at all.
That's good.
Yes. Yeah, we're having an awful lot of CoQ10. We're having the melatonin. We're having all these marvelous things, like you said, that the American Indians use, that shamans use, the peoples use. Everything that you got in any pill form has come from something in the earth. You know that.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
does the CoQ10 do?
It helps open blood vessels, keeps people from strokes.
So it'd be good for high blood pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Francine. So we're planning to go down to Anaheim.
You don't need to go. There's enough. There's enough.
Okay.
Yes.
Francine, to go back to the birthmarks, if you see your child with a birthmark, which I have done to my children, not only mine but others, and I've always wondered, I remember you had said a long time ago that was from something in a past life, that most of us come through with something. Is there any, just because it's a point of curiosity certainly, but as they get older, could it be that maybe they would develop a particular problem with that spot?
They can. When Sylvia was very young, on the back of her right thigh, she has a perfect rose. I mean, it's actually a rose. She asked me when she was very young, what was this? I said, you were stabbed. And for some reason, you wanted to turn it into a rose to make it nicer than what it was. But she did, when she was younger, developed somewhat of a little limp in her right leg. And so I told her, I said, don't do that.
Don't buy into it.
Don't
Yeah.
let that cell memory come. No.
So just something to watch for. That
Watch
if a problem
for.
develops.
Yes, if they have a birthmark on their arm, and you notice they keep hitting that arm, they keep scraping that arm, they keep busting that arm, then say, look, that birthmark is there, not as a bad thing, but sort of as a reminder not to do it again. It's a little flag.
And even better than that, would it be the age of 12, 13 to do a hypnosis? If you think
Sure.
you're mature enough, would that help them even more so?
Absolutely. There's 5, you're not, well, Sylvia's even done hypnosis on a 5-year-old. Because you can do the balloon, take them in a balloon and take them back in time, and colored balloons, and and even if they're not getting anything, you can take them back in the balloon through the time and then talk to them in a very quiet, meditative way and still release it. You see, you don't always have to have somebody jabbering at you releasing to get it released. By your soothing talk, you release. Mm-hmm. Yes, I take one more before I go, yes.
Francine, when we recognize that there's something, a mark that symbolizes, we don't have to know what it is, we just have to say, this is something that I don't have to experience.
You don't have to know what it is. No. Just look at your body and say, oh my, I'm now developing a brown spot on the right side of my face or my hand or whatever. If it doesn't mean anything, fine, but it certainly wouldn't hurt you to say whatever it might be.
Now, with arthritis, I know that it is said to be
Energy that's repressed.
Could it be repressed from another life as
Absolutely.
well? Okay, so instead of just saying what it is now, say, okay, just take
Whatever,
it all the way down.
whatever. Maybe I wanted to play the piano and somebody kept hitting my hands with a ruler. And so guess what? My hands will curl up in order to protect them. All right, I'm ready to go.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Francine.
Interesting.
And going back to, hypnosis, and talking about Francine was, reminding of how Sylvia would do meditations for young people of, the balloon and traveling and so on. What is that? That's visualization.
The visualization.
Helping the person visualize and stay focused on the visualizations. And many times it's the mind also delivers things, brings stuff up when you're, opening and making suggestions for the mind. The mind also returns stuff, and that's where, for me, I see that as accessing our memory, memory from our soul. Thinking of Sylvia's mind theory and working our way up that inverted pyramid of information.
Fascinating. Oh, really, really, really fascinating. Do you remember? Do you remember anything like having more openness to the other side as a child?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I don't recall at this point.
Don't recall.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I've got a few recollections, but no, I think it's fascinating. I remember I was babysitting for family friends, and I found out that their youngest child had this like debilitating fear of freezing to death, and lived in Colorado, which is very hot. It's a very, very hot place. And like but this young person would always be wearing like as many clothes as possible and like a turtleneck and just like clearly overheating. This poor young man is clearly overheating. And so I remember having some conversations with him about like letting go of that fear. And but that was interesting because I recognized at the time that I was like, oh, this is a past life carryover, most likely, because there's no reason why this small child would be just terrified of freezing to death. Like,
right.
He lives in this very hot place. So yeah, if anyone has some interesting stories about their own young childhood to share, I'd be really interested to read your stories.
And
if you remember things
while they're typing, I appreciate the time it takes to type.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the child prodigies, the kids that are of whatever age, we would expect, hey, they're not that emotionally educated enough yet, and yet they sit down at instruments and are like, oh, they quickly grasp the mastery of these, whether it's singing or piano or drums. You watch on the internet, these young toddlers come out and have doesn't take them long to master that. And I'm like, duh, where does that come from? That's not from chemistry and genes, and they've got to have absorbed that from somewhere for it. That's my opinion on it. To be that young and have mastered to the level that they have, to me, they brought it with them.
Yeah. We have a question from Narcissa. She asks, what did she say about arthritis? I've got a few things that come to mind. Do you remember?
What I remember about arthritis is exercise it. Don't get out and try and be the next Olympic champion, with the arthritis. You work into it, but it's because you're not working it. That's like pent up energy. You're not, if it's elbows or knees or whatever, you're not doing enough activity with those joints. So get out and exercise. That's like one thing. Yes, it it can be painful, but it's like you got to work through it. Work yourself back up to, and ask for youthing, not euthanizing. Youthing. There's my wordplay. Youthing yourself is asking for, that your body be, remember when you were younger. Ask your body to remember when you were younger, and that can help as well. A reminder of it. We may have been programmed at some point of what we think we're supposed to be when we're old. Well, we don't have to do that. So that's my 50 cents worth.
Cool. I going along with projecting to when you were younger. They have also said during trances that arthritis seems really tied up to people who are creative, who aren't being creative enough as an output. It's like you are naturally have a creative spark, and the creative spark wants to go somewhere, and so it ends up being in people's joints, just itching to get out. So
because you're not moving, yeah.
Yes. So if someone is really, really like hampered by arthritis, maybe just starting to do something that you do find creative, like writing or singing, just to start getting that process, getting the process started might also be helpful. Also, Journey of the Souls topic 3 does have a few supplement suggestions that you could consider for support.
Fun.
Yes. So we've got a few comments of folks sharing things. Reverend Yvonne shares, when I was a child, I would choose what I wanted to dream about, and I quite often found myself flying. How lovely.
Fun.
Sherry shares, I remember dreaming or being in a living room with glass windows and a beautiful view of the city when I was a child, and a lady maybe babysitting me because she was not my mom. I asked my mom, and she said she didn't know anyone who was watching me. What if it was a spirit guide? Interesting. Gibson shares, I was riding in the back of the car, and I felt a hand of a man on my shoulder. I knew instantly it was my grandfather with long, thin fingers. I was too scared to turn around and look and wanted to tell my mom, but she always said I was being crazy when things like that would happen. Oh, you're not crazy. Ramona shares, when I was little, I kept saying I wanted to go home, even though I was home.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel ya.
And
yes,
for those the person I was sharing about the grandfather touching on the shoulder, I still have similar nervousness about things on a human level. Don't think it's an issue, or don't think of yourself poorly about that. It's like we're also in a human body, and many of us have learned that if there's nothing standing there, and you're feeling being touched, it's like, oh, okay, that's not right. So I'm still working my way through that, and I hear noises once in a while, and I have to yell out sometimes, stop it. It's like, yes, our guides try and give us clues or what's the word? Announce that they're there in different forms, and I still get the weebie-jeebies when the wrong thing is making noises that shouldn't be making noises. So, tell them, don't do that again. Do something else. So anyway.
Oh man. funny. Beth shares, I'll just read 2 more. Beth shares, my mom has always been creative. In the past few years, she unfortunately has become blind. Her eyesight has gotten worse. She couldn't see her crafts anymore, which made her depressed. And then recently she developed severe arthritis. Oh, my heart goes out to your mom. I don't know if there's any support groups that might give suggestions so people can still be creative while vision impaired.
Do what you can. I'm sorry. What was the artwork that she was doing?
I don't think she said.
Okay, because
crafts. Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to say is, and it's not a judgment thing. It's more of, okay, what is it? How can you express that creativity? Find a way to express the creativity.
Singing, maybe.
Okay, there you go. People that start out blind or are blind at a young age, they find ways to do things, and because they're persistent and they have the support system of probably family members that support persistence or encourage persistence of, okay, how am I gonna, it's a challenge for me because I can't see, but how am I gonna get this done? So sometimes that's what give the encouragement, or give an alternative. Is there an alternative to help them express themselves?
Very good thoughts. Very good thoughts. Let's see here. Okay, now I swear, just 2 more comments, then I'm done. So,
like we're complaining.
2 more comments. 2 more comments. Okay. Anne shares, I remember my first astral projection. I was 5 years old at my grandma's house in Indiana, which I hated. So I went to bed and I was flying over my house in Illinois. That is super interesting. It's also hilarious. I don't want to go to grandma's house. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then Addie shares, last one. When I was in 5th grade, I found it extremely easy to read hieroglyphs. And I wonder, where did that knowledge come from?
Wow.
I imagine that you studied it, either knew it in a past life or knew it on the other side. That is super, super interesting and cool. Very interesting.
Cool. That's it. We want to move on to the last segment, or
I think we can get. I think we can move on to our last segment.
All right.
All right. And just commented saying it was great. LOL. It's funny. Too funny. Okay, so our last segment is actually the start of a new trance with Francine. So it is Poutpourri night, which means it's going to be a variety of questions from all over the place. So we're going to hear about how spirits study new information on the other side. Going down the chute is very hard on a person. Some people will vibrate before astrally projecting. And angels taking the form of animals.
Cool. Here we go. Take notes.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Francine, my beloved, beautiful friend.
Tonight is the 5th in the series. So this has always been known as Poutpourri, which means that you can ask me anything that you would like to ask me on any material that we have ever covered. Anything you would like to ask me that maybe I haven't covered. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you so. Yes.
Francine, you said that you go to the library to do research.
Yes.
Now, when you're doing this research, how are you remembering what you're saying? Are you reading? Are you writing it down? Or where do you store it? And how much do you retain when you're doing all this?
Each one of us that goes to the library yes, we have a marvelous amount of retentive knowledge, much more so than you would ever know. And you use maybe 1/10, some of you 1/5 of your brain. We use 9/10 of our brain. So we have a very photographic memory. But each one of us has what we call our own cell. Now, please don't misconstrue that cell means bars. We have our own study module. In that module, I keep an awful lot of reference material. If it is very lengthy, I write it down, and then while I'm talking to you, I'm prompted by Rahim or some other spirit who is, let's say, that I can bring along with me to be a prompter. So I do both. I retain, I write it down, I make great tomes of information for my own learning ability.
So how much material would you cover in one session that you would sit down? Like 20, 30 books, or would you
I've done as much as 150 books in one session. They're much different books than you would realize. They come in scrolls, but they're very condensed. They're not deleted, but they come in scrolls. We have some books that are very valuable, or old books that we've come back from, I guess, from the beginnings, that have beautiful scrolls, but most of the time we have scrolls. So we open them up.
You said, what are you writing down there? What kind of, are you using a regular pen like what we have?
I use a quill.
A quill. Okay.
I use a quill. Yes.
How much time in our world would you actually spend researching for a trance series?
From the time that I leave you, and depending on whether Rahim comes in or not, I will spend at least, I would say, trying to abacus it 3 of your days fully, without sleep, because I don't need sleep.
When a spirit is ready to enter back into life, now when we go out, we see the light in the tunnel. What is it that they see and experience when coming back into life to be born?
A child born is the most frightening experience than any entity ever goes
And
through.
as they're standing there ready to come back, what is
Well,
it?
we call it the chute. And the chute is dark. Going back is light, going down is dark.
Oh, gee.
And so what we do is we stand for a long time, we're counseled for a long time. There is a lot of bemoaning on the part. That's the only time we ever see an entity become somewhat humanized, to the point they're wringing their hands and crying, don't want to leave. And sometimes we've just been forced to push them in because they ask us to. If I can't make the push me in. I think that's why Sylvia for so many years was doing prenatal or natal regressions, and finally stopped because it was too horrific on the entity coming through that tiny dark tunnel and being the life squeezed out of the person and choking.
Thank you.
Yes.
Whenever we're sleeping, sometimes we go to the other side. A lot of times.
Oh,
Yes.
on the average of about 3 times a week, most of you.
Now, what if somebody, what happens to us? We're just sleeping, and
Your soul goes.
And our soul goes.
Your astral
Can
soul.
we do that when we're? And then is it a vibration thing? Where
Oh
it
yes, a lot of
actually
people do it during meditation.
Okay, so you just vibrate to a certain frequency, and then you cross over to that.
You see, that's why a lot of people in astral projection begin to vibrate.
Physically shake.
Because they're getting ready to go into that dimension. It's very much like a rocket will shimmy and shudder, so to speak, to get there.
And it's like that little jerk that
Yes.
Larry talks about.
Hey.
Yes, and also many times when you think you're falling asleep, and you do
feel falling, and yeah.
No, you're really going out. You're not falling anywhere. You're actually ascending out.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you the feeling of that
But then does that mean that you're not there to check up? Is part
Your
of nervous
autonomic
left?
nervous system will go on regardless.
Okay, so if you had a fire or something, I mean, you'd hear the dogs wake you or something.
Oh, you'd come back in your body immediately.
Okay.
If you were meant to. If you weren't meant to and that was your time to go, you'd probably be out anyway. Yes.
Francine, there's a program on television called Miracles, and I've seen a couple of the episodes that they've shown, and my question is, in one of the episodes, a family saw a dog outside of their van window, which they knew was in a kennel back home, and the dog kept them from getting in a big accident. And the dog had a stick in its mouth. Well, when they went to pick the dog up at the kennel, the stick was in the kennel. And I was wondering, how does that manifest?
Angels.
So then...
Angels can transport that animal. Or angels can take the form of an animal.
Okay, so they transported him and they kept that item.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
There was a story that Sylvia was relating to me that if you ask for angels, this woman was in a place by herself and she heard a lot of gang noises outside. And she just figured, well, if she was going to get it, she would just open the door. She opened the door and they looked at her and ran screaming away. Mm-hmm. The next day, they came back and told her that they saw someone in a white suit standing behind her that was 7 feet tall.
Whoa.
So angels can take the form of a dog. They can take the form of a cat
And
for that time being.
And then also there was one about writing on a card. A child that had since died had signature on his card along with his twin brother who was still alive. And I wondered, how does that manifest? Same?
Mm-hmm. They can do it, yeah. You see, that's how 8-port's done. The same as Bill, Sylvia's father, can turn on her music box. It's, you light up my life. They can do that.
They can do that.
Oh, yes.
Anything.
Energy can form in such... That's what 8-port is. Getting something from a long distance. A ring found on your bed.
Yes. Thank you.
We had that on an airplane.
Yes.
I vaguely recall the story of the Larry just referred to as there was a missing item on or something was left on an airplane and they got on another one, something of that nature, and out of nowhere the item showed up with them on one of their airplane trips. So yeah, those are fun stories of, hey, it was left back there. And for me, it's with the dog and the stick. You know, they were saying they saw the dog with the stick, and when they got back, the stick was in the kennel with the dog. And had the stick not been used or brought along, you know it would have been so easy to say, oh, it wasn't the same dog. But when they recognized the stick, that's the hook and the connection to say, that was the miracle for them. It was to help them recognize what that miracle was, and that that was the dog that was there to help them. So yeah,
so
those
sweet.
Those are always fun and helpful to have for us to say, oh, this is important. It's like my the story I tell about when I had come home from vacation, wondering if I should have gone on and feeling guilty about going on vacation. I stopped with I said, which way do I go? Do I go west and south or south and west to get home? And okay, I was following my first thing that came to mind, and I stopped at a gas station to get fuel for the diesel, and I saw two things. It was the odometer had Trinity numbers on it right where I happened to stop, and when I opened the door to get out, there was a penny on the ground right where I was supposed to step.
Oh.
And I didn't get the gist of it until a little bit later. but I knew there was something. I knew there was
Mhm.
something. It's like, how many times do you get two coincidences happening? And later, when I sat back in the truck, and was like, okay, what is it? What is it? I know there's something. And the words that came to mind was, what happened when you got out of the door? I stepped on the coin. What is that? What's the expression? You're right on the money.
Oh, interesting. Right on the money.
So that's why, yeah, you can ask for those things when you're not getting it, or get your guides to help you get clues that will be significant for you, and then of course be persistent about figuring out those clues. Why? I mean, the other thing that came to mind was the song. Out of nowhere, you're doing something, and songs start playing in your head. And I've been deficient
That's a
at
big one for me. Yeah.
figuring those out lately, because I've had two songs play in my head recently, on a regular basis, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
Interesting.
that's nice, and I'm like, unfortunately, I'm being a little bit dismissive about them, and I shouldn't be. But think, stop and ask. Okay, be a little persistent about. Okay, what's going on with this song? What are they saying? Who's saying it? Um, in the past, I've had a song play in my head that had no relevance to me. I've heard it in the past. It wasn't significant to me. It wasn't a favorite song, but I stopped and looked it up. Okay, it wasn't the singer, it was the writer. There was the name of the writer
Oh,
that
interesting.
was the significance to it, to me.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, gosh, I actually was keeping a journal of songs and what the songs that would pop in my head or would be playing when I woke up and things like
Yeah.
that, and saying like, here was the message. And so when I start getting into tough patches, that's when I notice I start having a lot more songs playing in my head, which is interesting. Um, I your penny story makes me recall when I accepted my job to originally move to Los Angeles. It was a job that I wasn't sure about, so I was in the process of going into interview, and I was like, I'm not sure if I really want to interview here. But right at that moment, as I picked up my folder, excuse me, a penny fell on my lap and was right in the middle of my skirt.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
was like, what? And I pick it up. It's a brand new penny. And I was like, what? And I looked at it, and the words that popped out said, "In God we trust." And so I said, okay, I'll go keep an open mind. And I went forward. And then loved the interview, loved my boss, my future boss, and came back out, called my husband, said, hey, here's how it went. And he's like, okay, great, but I need to tell you about this funny joke that I saw on Facebook. It was about a penny. Penny, 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 penny. And he was just going to town talking about this penny joke, which was so absolutely completely random. And I said, okay, God, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. My hand to you. I get it. And so that was a positive move. That was a very, very positive move for us. And so that was the job I accepted, even though I had better offers in a couple places. But I was happier by far at the place where I went. So
cool.
Penny, 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 penny.
Yeah.
In God we trust. Right on the money.
Any fun comments, or we go into the next?
Yeah. Looks like we got some fun comments. Yes. Gibson says, I'm going to call Tom the next time I find money because I would never have thought of that.
Okay.
That's funny. Naomi shares, if I had a song that pops in my head, which is often, I look it up the lyrics on the internet and see if the message that I may and see the message that I may be getting.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Kristen says, so many messages around us. We all need to pay attention. True story. Ramona says, my brother sends my mom and I dimes. That's really sweet.
Nice.
That's really sweet. Naomi shares, sometimes it's just one phrase in the song, and that's the message. Sometimes it's a few more verses, but I just find it amusing. It is. It is amazing. It's always very touching. It's like, thank you, other side. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that was involved in sending me this reassurance. I much appreciate you guys. Sherry shares, the company that I'm working for now, my coworker gave me a stamper and it had my birth date on it. She said that, see, you were meant to work here. That's really funny. Ron shares, whenever I drive, I always surround my vehicle with a white light. I can't tell you how many times it saved my wife and I from these crazy drivers out there. Oh, God. I'm so glad you guys are safe.
Yeah.
And Ramona says, Naomi, I know what you are saying about the lyrics of the songs. Me too. Yeah. Love those songs. Love those song messages. Should write journals because then you see like this huge stack of cool messages that you've gotten from spirit guides and the other side, and it's really neat.
That's something I am very lax on is journaling and
I keep a little thing on my phone. It's just super quick. Just like
that's true. That's where I've collected the favorite famous phrases.
Perfect. Perfect.
Similar thing. Okay.
Okay.
For meditation, and for those of you that want to participate, now's the time. We do encourage you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful grace and rejuvenation. And for those of you that are doing something that you need to pay attention to, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand that we have available at this time. And for the rest of us, hang out, sit back, relax, and here's a meditation. Find a comfortable chair to sit in with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. When you are ready, close your eyes.
Ebb and flow. Feel warmth, the white light of the Holy Spirit and the Christ consciousness moving around you. Feel the presence of your own emotion and intellect. I want you to feel the love of Mother and Father God. All heralds of truth attend you, along with your spirit guide and the archetypes. Feel like the ocean. Feel the ebbing of all pain, heartache, disappointment, and fear. In their place, white foam comes on a wave and rinses away everything but a shining silver light. Let this rinse over you like a baptism. The healing that comes leaves you free of all fear, fresh, clean, and alive. From this moment on, you will live by your own truths, your own God center, and whatever makes you happy during this spiritual journey of survival. Let the ocean's movement rinse away all regrets and leave you fresh, healed, and flooded with the grace of God. Feel the strength of your soul now magnifying and stretching. The tide ebbs and flows. The pain and grief recede. Not just for now, but for the future. Feel your strength rise up. Once the outer crust is removed, all bigotry and prejudice will be washed away. Standing before God, you are cleansed, you are healed. In the state of becoming, you are perfect, spiritual, knowing, and God-centered. Take a deep breath and let all your pain and disappointment go. You are bonded to a sisterhood, a brotherhood, which will survive and be strong. The group is not intimidated by life's fears. Begin to feel energy rising through your feet, cleansing, healing, and burning out pain and sorrow, all up through the body. You are strengthened and your destiny and wishes are fulfilled. You feel marvelous from head to toe, better than you've ever felt before.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally awake.
Ah.
Yeah. I was getting a flash flood of like cartoon images for something. I'm not sure what that one's about,
Interesting.
but it's like, I guess an opening or expression or something's is coming about, and I'm like, wait a minute, I want to visualize all the progression and the healing and betterment of myself, and it took me a minute to like, wait a minute, let's see what we're asked to be visualized. But you know, sometimes our meditations don't quite follow. Our minds like don't quite follow and have something else to reveal, or what's the word? A different agenda than what's in the guided meditation, which can be okay too.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. And of course, we appreciate all the listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing, and you know, getting that message out. Sowing the seeds, like we like to share. Check out our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, chrisrightnow.com. Yes, we enhance, I guess we enhance Facebook. Look for Society of Nova Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio Show. Oh, that one's going away eventually, but anyway, look for study groups. Also, if you want to participate, you'll soon be able to watch, not participate, because the special Zoom service is a participation versus the live Sunday service from Las Vegas. Sign up on the website. You'll get notified when that becomes available. YouTube, yes, look for Society of Nova Spiritus, as well as Chris Dufresne is at Psychic Awareness. If you want to donate and get something in return, start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy, and you'll get more information than you get because you get a Sunday service CD and a newsletter. And if you want to, if you want to get something and donate, you can go to Amazon Smile and tell them you want your donations to go to the Society of Nova Spiritus. Let's see, church services. Yes, there's like posted. Where are we? We're in the middle of the month, so I had posted one. I've got one coming up here soon, and so watch for that. It's on Facebook and YouTube. Ellen Schloss has special Sunday Zoom service. I was just mentioning put your email in the website so you can get notified and invited to that. I mentioned earlier the novena. Now's that time for our special prayer ceremony. So for new people, we're all hello, my voice is cracking over here. We're all going to say this phrase together 3 times. I'll lead, but we'll all say it together, and it doesn't matter when you're listening to this. It doesn't matter, if you're watching the recording or not. It's the fact that you're participating in this and saying this. So the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. And so we'll say all that phrase 3 times together, and then we'll ask for things afterwards, and I'll let you know for each time what we'll ask for. So let's visualize we're all hanging out together in a large room and we're all holding hands, making this huge circle. So we'll get started here. Ready? I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay, the next round. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for those seeking this spiritual knowledge. You know, sow our seeds like Johnny Appleseed and get that information out there for those that are in need. And what are you appreciative of? Stop and think for a moment what you're appreciative of. Not just that we're here helping share things for you, but you know, what happened to you this week that was you appreciate, or is there something that you appreciate about yourself? In the meantime, you can also show appreciation for Francine and Raheem for researching all this wonderful knowledge. And of course, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum in the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And Asna for helping us and protecting us. and Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. And Bob Engel for helping with some of the audio and the graphics. Sammy and Javon for coming up with this wonderful intro and outro music for us. For the show, writing, setup, and hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now, let's see, we got a prayer from Sylvia. Somewhere in here. Let's see. Ooh, a child's prayer. This will be cute. Thank you. I just got that.
A child's prayer. Dear Mother and Father God, please keep me close to your heart and protect me always. Keep all darkness away from me. Keep the white light of the Holy Spirit around me, which is God's love for me. I ask that Father God hold me close with his arms around me. I ask that my guardian angels stay with me always and protect me all of my life. I ask that I will forever be able to hear the voice of God and my angels in my heart. Amen.
And Kat's gonna tell us.
Happy Thanksgiving. We love you so much.
Oh yeah,
we're
that's
so
coming
grateful
up.
for you.
See you
Good
in
night.
2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
For
Good
so
night.
long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand, because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth, you are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. Mother